Alrighty, it looks like we have a good bit of attendees in today, so we're going to go right ahead and get started. Hello, and once again, welcome. My name is Savitra, and I am here with my amazing colleagues today, Mary Scarpa and Carly, who is helping us behind the scenes. We would like to welcome you to the Preparing for the Application process. Hopefully, you will walk away today learning a little bit more about how you can prepare yourself to apply to some of the Purdue University online programs. But before we get started, we would like to first do a poll. So in just a moment, you should see a poll populate on the screen because we're wanting to get to know you a bit more. This poll will ask questions relative to your location, your experience, and also your discipline or your industry. So we'll wait a little while until we get some answers on the screen. Oh, it would look like some are coming in. So
Oh,
thank
that's
you all
great.
so
I'm
much.
seeing some Northeast folks. That's me. I'm here in Pennsylvania. Awesome.
Oh, that is
Some
great.
West, Midwest, International. That's wonderful too. And let's see, programs, technology and AI, engineering, communications.
Wow. So we are all across the board. Mary, I agree. This is really great to just kind of see that we have a diversity set of folks that are joining our call today. So we'll give just about 10 more seconds and then we will end our poll and show the results.
Healthcare, business. This is all great to see.
Yes.
Love it.
Awesome. So sharing results, let's see, where are you tuning in from? So we have 24% that is tuning in from Northeast, Midwest, followed by Southeast, Southwest, and our international visitors. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you joining with us today. When it comes to the programs that you are most interested in, we have engineering coming in at 48%, followed by technology and AI. That is also amazing. And we would like to thank you all so much for taking part in our poll. We definitely appreciate it. And Mary, did I miss anything on your end from the poll?
No, I think
No.
looks good. Welcome
Okay.
one and all.
Awesome. Awesome.
Great. Well, as Savitra mentioned, we are here to support folks through the application process and beyond. We are a team of, I believe, 17 at this time, maybe even 18 now, enrollment counselors that support students interested in our Purdue University online portfolio. And so really, as you're looking to apply to your prospective program, you'll notice first and foremost that timeline is pretty critical, right? We have some programs that start spring, summer, and fall, some that might only be spring and fall, some that are rolling. So there is a lot of variance program to program. So knowing when the deadlines are that are associated with that program is probably our biggest tip to ensure that this process is smooth and fun and allows you to be successful, particularly as some programs do have priority versus final deadlines. And just knowing and understanding what those are can be incredibly instrumental in making sure that you're moving through the application process to be successful to get an admissions decision in a timely manner. And really, your enrollment counselor is going to be that guiding source to support you through this process to help guide you through next steps. And as far as next steps, allow yourself time. Some of our programs do need items in at least 4 weeks prior to the deadline, but some might require 6 or more. So, I always encourage folks that because for many, this is a return to school, we really want this process to be fun. We want it to be exciting. We want it to be inspiring. Going back to school is a really big deal. And whether you're pursuing a full graduate degree or a credential or licensure program, we want the experience to be incredibly supportive. And so anytime that you are not giving yourself enough time, it can often become, stressful. And we certainly don't want that for you. So allowing yourself time leading up to the start of an application can be really helpful. And please know that on our website, many of our applications are open and available to start even upwards for a year in advance. So feel empowered to start an application at any point in time that you might be ready and definitely give yourself enough time.
And Mary, thank you so much for talking about time because that also rolls into the rolling admissions. As Mary has already
Mhm.
stated, several of our programs have multiple intakes per semester. For example, I work with the online Masters of Business Administration program. We have 8 intakes spring, summer, and fall. So that's why
Mhm.
it's very important, as Mary has stressed, to get with your enrollment counselor to learn those dates. Mary also stressed the importance of once you figure out when those dates are, you can also ask about priority deadline. Are there scholarships? If there are scholarships, is there a particular time that I need to submit the application to be considered? And going back to allowing yourself time, the sooner you submit, the sooner possibly that you can get an admissions decision, which would then allow you to be able to plan better, to register for courses, to create your student account, and to be able to get any questions addressed before the first day of classes. And after you have submitted the application, we do particularly let students know to allow up to 4 weeks for a response. Of course, if you are applying closer to the deadline, that response could come a bit quicker, but you want to follow up with your counselor to be able to check the timeline of the process for your program.
Such a good point, Savitra. And that kind of leads us to our next poll question. This is really interactive, and we're really excited that you're answering this poll here for us because it helps us gauge our audience. And we're curious, speaking of deadlines and starts, when are you interested in starting with Purdue? So we're going to launch another poll here and just kind of gauge, give you a moment or two, like before, just to share with us when you think you might want to officially start a potential program.
And we have some responses coming in already, Mary.
Oh, this is fabulous. Yes, we will share those as they come in. Uh, Great. So it does look like we're seeing a lot of summer 2026, fall 2026. That makes sense. Those are our next two start terms. Fall, of course, being a very big time to go back to school, right? It's kind of ingrained in the traditional academic American calendar. But I also see some folks that are thinking about spring 2027. And I love to see that you're thinking ahead. I think that's a phenomenal leeway of time. And some folks who are undecided, which is absolutely okay too. We can be
Yes.
somewhat flexible on our end. So something to think about, though, as far as when you might want to start.
Awesome, awesome. And thank you all so much for participating in our poll.
Very good. All right.
So now let's talk a little bit about getting started. So great tip here. Before applying to the application, it would be a great idea to check out the website of the program that you are looking to apply to. Why do I say that? Because you will be able to find some information relative to curriculum, to the courses, to the structure, and also the application process. Once you have knowledge of that program and what is required, you can then set up a one-to-one meeting with your counselor. Here, you can ask follow-up questions relative to what you found on the site, but also use this time to talk a little bit more about your profile, your background. If you have any questions about your experience, about your GPA, or what your qualifications are compared to what the program is looking for, this is the perfect time for you to address those concerns with that enrollment counselor. Next, once you are ready to apply for the program, then you will log on to gradapply.purdue.edu/apply, and there are steps for you to create and to start the application. But here's the best part of it all. You don't have to do it by yourself. If for any reason there are questions that come up, you can always get in contact with your program or contact the enrollment counselor for more questions if you need assistance.
Absolutely. And I think, Savitra brought up a really good point in that, if you are curious about if you meet the requirements for the program, or perhaps, your GPA might be a little bit lower, but you have more years of experience than the average the program is looking for, we recognize that Purdue University Online has a wide portfolio. And there are a lot of avenues to get you to where your end goal might be career-wise. So, we encourage you to have these conversations with us so that we can strategize, advocate for you, and also plan an opportunity that's going to be supportive of where you'd like to go in your career.
Yes.
All right. Now, as far as what you would like to submit, this is going to certainly vary program to program, right? We have those 200 online credentials, graduate programs, all the way up to doctorate and engineering degrees. So they're all going to be a little bit specific as far as those requirements. But overall, in general, these are the items that you're going to want to start thinking about that the grad school is going to require. And so, first is your resume. And this is really just an educational and experience understanding to leverage what it is that you've done up to this point. And so what you would traditionally submit for a employer is probably in alignment with what we're looking for. Any accolades that you may have that are correlated to the degree that you might be entering into would also be great. But in general, it's just an understanding of your educational and experience background up to this point in a traditional resume format. Recommendations is a big part of this process. We will ask for students to list two or three recommenders, again, varying on the program. And these individuals are really going to be speaking to your graduate level readiness, how they've seen you perform. They could be academic or professional. You do want to shy away from friends and family, but somebody who is in your network that can really speak to your alignment with the program and provide a professional recommendation on your behalf. And shying away from the old days of formal letters of recommendation on letterhead, here at Purdue University, our system allows you to enter the contact information for those recommenders. And then upon entering that, you do have an option to hit send to recommenders. And so our system will send an email prompt to those individuals asking them to fill out an electronic form on your behalf, which upon submitted will come back to us directly to meet that requirement in your application. So it's pretty streamlined and easy. But again, anywhere between 0 to 3 individuals is what the graduate school is going to be looking for. In addition, part of our holistic nature, we are going to be looking for 2 admissions essays. And so you'll find an academic statement of purpose and a personal history statement will be requested of you. And again, check with your enrollment counselor to see specifically what each program is going to be looking for. But on average, I see a page to a page and a half, right? It varies based on your level of experience. Some folks might have 20 years worth of, things that they want to highlight in their personal history statement. But overall, it should be an opportunity for us to understand what your goals are. What is your alignment with this program? What are you looking for in a program? And what are your career goals? And that helps us assess fit both ways, right? We want to know what your skills and experience are, your graduate level readiness, your familiarity with the program, right? We want to know that you've done your research and have a firm understanding of the curriculum and the program. And so, both of these admissions essays, again, really just help us ensure fit. But more importantly, they also help us get to know you as an individual and get to, hear your journey, hear your voice and really personalize the application experience. And so, a big component of the essay, but again, hopefully a fun one, because ultimately this is where we learn a lot about you and your interest in the program.
And let's talk a little bit about transcripts. So something that you would need to note is that you are required to submit all of your official transcripts from any college or university that you've attended, even if you didn't graduate
Mhm.
directly from your college or university to Purdue. If you have a copy of your official transcript in your possession, it is okay to upload that onto the application that you are filling out for review purposes, but you will still need to eventually contact your college and university to have those official transcripts sent directly from them to Purdue. And this is done to just ensure that the school is verifying the transcripts that you have uploaded to the application process. There are 2 ways that you can have those transcripts sent from your school. It can be sent via email or mailing address. And in the chat, we can drop a link so that you can learn a little bit more about how you can have those transcripts sent from your college or university directly to Purdue. Let's talk a little bit about test scores. As Mary has said, we have so many programs, it really varies. You will want to reach out to the enrollment counselor for the specific program that you're thinking about applying to ask if GRE or GMAT scores are required for that particular program. And you can also ask the average score that they are looking for. And this also goes into the proficiency test for English. Some programs require it, some do not. We typically see this proficiency needed for a residential class, excuse me, program, sometimes for online. Some programs require it, some does not. But once again, you would want to reach out to the enrollment counselor to verify if those scores will be needed for our international, non-US citizen, and for our students that are in countries that are non-speaking not, excuse me, non-English speaking countries. Sorry about that. In terms of the exams that are accepted, it's the TOEFL, the Duolingo, and the OWL. So these are just some things that you can keep in mind in terms of test scores and proficiency scores.
Absolutely, Savitra. And one thing to note too is application fee. You should expect to pay an application fee, either $60 or $75, but sometimes these can be waived. And that's really on an individual case by case basis. So if you have questions about that, definitely want to connect with your enrollment counselor because they'll be able to let you know individually based on the program that you're interested in, kind of what flexibility there might exist. So good to connect with them if you have questions about application fee.
Well, thank you for that, Mary. That is good information to note. Now, submitting your application, one of the things that you want to ensure before hitting submit is that all of your items have been accounted for. This means that you've already reached out to your letters of recommendations to say, hey, I will be sending this so that you are aware that it's something that I need, that you've also reached out to your colleges and universities and you're in the process of getting them sent. The great thing about the application process is that you can submit your application before those items come in. Once they come in and they reach the admissions office, they will be automatically attached to your application. If for some reason you're missing those particular things that we are waiting for, you will either get an email from the admissions office letting you know that, hey, we're still waiting on your transcript, your letters of recommendation, or you can always note that your enrollment counselor, who will be working very closely with you, will reach out to let you know that we are missing those things as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I know sometimes, Savitra and I, when we're working with students together, we'd sometimes hear that, students are checking their emails and sometimes they go to spam. And that happens. Certain companies and organizations and even different email servers, sometimes emails go to spam on vacation there for a while. So you're going to want to make sure to check those folders too.
Yes.
But it's important for, as Savitra mentioned, not only ensuring that all of your application items are complete, but also for next steps. Some of our programs do require to schedule an admissions interview to learn a little bit more about you throughout the application process. And so you certainly don't want to miss that next step. So, once you've submitted everything, you'll get notification that it's in, but that doesn't mean you should stop checking your email. You do want to make sure to stay on top of it because we will certainly be reaching out to you for next steps, including things like scheduling an interview. And again, ultimately, that's why we're here. We have a pretty large team, but we love what we do. And so we recognize that there's a lot of moving pieces when it comes to submitting an application for consideration. And so again, leverage your enrollment counselor to make sure that everything's in, it's before the deadline. And as you have questions about next steps to understand kind of the full picture of what it's going to look like timeline wise before the start of the term, that's why we're here. We're here and happy to help. So please utilize us.
We have a question in the chat about our transcript retrieval service. Someone's asking, we do offer this process to maybe go through it, that Purdue can reach out if your school is eligible to get their transcripts. Does someone want to chat about that?
Yeah, so as Carla has mentioned, within the application, there is a question that asks if you would like for Purdue University to try to get your transcript on your behalf, and the admissions team will work to try to pull those transcripts for you. Sometimes they are successful, and sometimes it requires that you yourself have to get in contact with the college or university to have them pull them themselves, so that particular system is available for you if we can pull the transcript, but if we are unable to get that transcript for you, then we will definitely reach out to let you know and to ask that you call the university on your behalf to request those transcripts, and we will provide the information needed for you to actually send those as well. And of course, there are also third-party systems like Parchment. Some students, unfortunately, the university doesn't have that transcript for them on file, but you can always go through Parchment if the college or university is aligned with that particular system to have them emailed and sent directly from Parchment to Purdue. So great question.
All right, we are nearing the end of our presentation, and we have one final poll for our audience here. And this poll really is just to understand where you might be in the application process. So perhaps some of you have started, and this, webinar is really helpful in just understanding kind of some of the missing pieces, or perhaps you're still thinking about the process and joining us today to learn a little bit more about all of the application items prior to starting. So thank you for those who are answering. I'm seeing some results already come in.
Yes, Mayor, we have a lot, and it looks like the top one is I'm just exploring options at this time, but hopefully they left here with some great information.
Great. All right. Okay. I don't know if we shared the results. I think we did. Might have clicked on it too fast. All right. Well, at this time, we've moved through all the moving pieces that we were excited to share with our audience today. And I know we've kind of already been doing some Q&A in the Q&A feature as part of our Zoom, but really welcome any additional questions that folks may have while we're here together.
And I'm checking the Q&A box, Mary. It seems like a lot of them were answered. Carly, are there any in the chat box that we overlooked?
I don't think so. We often get questions about what makes a good letter of recommendation writer, and who to pick, academic versus professional. Do you want to maybe speak on that a little bit?
Sure thing. Yes. So when it comes to letters of recommendation, advice that I normally give students is to find someone who can really speak to your strengths, who really understands where you are trying to navigate to personally or professionally, and those who have worked closely with you. As Mary has stated, when it comes to letters of recommendation, we are looking for professionals. So your manager, your supervisor, a colleague, team members that you've worked with, or maybe you've worked with someone on a project. So we really want them to be able to really talk about what it is that you can bring to the program, but also how you can develop and learn from the program as well as learning from those around you as well.
I think
Great.
there's questions too about if online students are allowed to come to campus or graduate in person. Do you want to talk a little bit about that too?
Sure. So, as a Purdue University student, you're always welcome to come to campus. While Purdue University online programs and curriculum are separate than residential, they are completely separate. Any events that we have, including commencement, is absolutely something you are welcome to come to. And then some programs do have hybrid courses, so check with your individual enrollment counselor. For example, the online MBA does have a summer course that takes place as an elective over the second part of summer, and it is technically created to be a hybrid course. So you might find nuances like that. But for students who are local, in the area, or even those who, find that they want to come in person for commencement, you're always welcome. But please note that we also stream that online. So for your friends, for your families who want to be able to tune in and celebrate, we absolutely have an online streaming service that will allow them to virtually take place. Although, again, certainly welcome to come in person.
We have a
Carly,
Yeah, we have a question in the chat here about how all if our online courses are all asynchronous, and what maybe some of the hybrid things programs are. If you wanted to speak mainly about I'd say our online programs and how a typical week in the life of a student is.
Is this question more so, Carly, in terms of just like how they can engage as an online student if
Yeah,
their
the
courses
class
are online?
or the question here is from Allie. Are the
Okay.
online courses completely asynchronous?
Gotcha. So I'm going to speak from the perspective of like the online MBA program. We are 100% asynchronous. Many of the programs are 100% asynchronous with sessions. Sometimes professors could have live sessions, but if you can't attend, I know for our program, that's perfectly fine. Outside of that, you do have the ability to still connect with your professor. Some courses may have a teaching assistant that you can reach out to for assistance. I think the really good thing about this program is that you are engaging with your advisor, success coach, career center, so that you can always have support. And when we're thinking about networking, it's a great program to be a part of because you do have the various workshops and webinars that will be available to students in order for you to stay connected. Did that answer the question, Carly?
Yeah, and she's specifically talking about the Masters of Public Health. And I do believe it's 100% online and asynchronous, which means like you never really have to be live online at a certain time of the day or the week in order to complete your readings and assignments, which really bodes well for all of our students who want to, kind of manage that work life and school balance. And I think that's one of the best benefits of having a Purdue degree in an online format.
For
I'll
sure.
echo that. I mean, a lot of times I speak with students who are balancing work and life and mortgages and families and friends. And it's like, when do you find time to be live? And having the ability to be in an asynchronous program really just makes it possible to return to school. So, whether you're working on, class content 2 p.m., and late lunch hour or 7 p.m. at night or Saturday morning at the kitchen table, it's flexible enough where it's possible, right? We want to remove the barriers. And so while every program does have those specific nuances, it really is designed for, the full-time working professional, the individual who's returning to school, really to be able to allow you to, successfully move through the program while balancing all of the other things that we know folks are always doing. So,
Well said.
other questions that we may have?
Not at the moment. If all of our participants want to jot down that email, poapply@purdue.edu, especially, if you have a question that later pops into your mind and want to send it over, that we will be happy to help. That is kind of like a general inbox, but we have many of our teammates managing that who will be able to direct you to the right person based on your program of interest.
And as we mentioned before, it is going to be very, very important to make sure to check the website of the program that you are interested in. There will be tons of information available on the enrollment counselor for that program, how you can get started, the application process, because as Mary has mentioned, the requirements can sometimes vary, but I guarantee if you check that website out, you will find a lot of the information and sometimes some of the FAQs there for any frequently questions that we normally get that you can also review there. But we are always happy to assist and we are looking forward to receiving your application.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. We're here and happy to help. So, as a next step, if you haven't met, with an enrollment counselor, you haven't signed up to receive emails about the program and important things that are happening within dates and deadlines, we're very communicative here at Purdue University Online. So, make sure to engage with us. Again, we're here and happy to support. But what a phenomenal step to, come and speak with us today and allow us to share a little bit more about, the programs that we serve and the application process. And we hope that it was helpful. We appreciate the time that you took being here with us. And yeah, wish you best of luck in the process. All right, well, great. Thank you so much. I don't see any additional questions come in, so we're going to leave the screen up here for a little while longer, and Savitra and I will continue to be available. But again, just want to, thank everyone so much for joining us this evening, and boiler up.
Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.